Veldora is the true dragon that can be easily manipulated with cake. Due to being a legendary creature, Veldora boasts an overwhelming amount of magicules, creating a situation where surrounding countries cannot move recklessly even when it is sealed by a hero. Veldora is also a prankster and has a weak side when coaxed. In this video, I will introduce the abilities and strength of the storm dragon Veldora, who explodes with grandeur. Features of Veldora. Veldora is one of the 4 strongest true dragons in the world and is classified as an abnormal danger level of catastrophe, special S class. In the world of Tensura, the dragon species is not a dragon in the common sense, but a higher being that combines the attributes of both holy and evil. When Veldora was born in this world, he rampaged around the world as he pleased and was destroyed by his sisters Velzard and Velbrun as a discipline many times, repeatedly resurrecting. Due to his untouchable appearance, Veldora is nicknamed the storm dragon in the world. Since true dragons have the characteristic of repeating disappearance and resurrection, they will eventually come out even if they are defeated. But about 300 years before Rimuru was reincarnated into the central world, Veldora was sealed by the infinite prison of the hero Cronoa and became unable to move. It seems that this was due to the fact that, after Veldora destroyed the Eastern Empire city, a request for subjugation was sent to Cronoa, who had once driven away Veldora and was sealed after a fierce battle in the infinite prison. With the infinite prison, one can create a prison that constantly releases magicules outside the body. In other words, if one cannot escape from the prison, they will naturally decay. However, even if it takes 300 years, it has little effect against a mass of tremendous magical essence like Veldora. Veldora's seal location is the sealed cave in the Jura forest. Even if sealed, Veldora's magicules still covers the forest and prevents external monsters from approaching, and the Jura forest was designated as a non-invasion zone to prevent the release of Veldora's seal by any means. However, with the appearance of a mysterious slime, Veldora was eaten, and the analysis of the infinite prison began. The fact that Veldora's presence suddenly disappeared from this world was big news and had a significant impact on surrounding countries. Also, with Rimuru's evolution to awaken Demon Lord, the great sage who analyzed the infinite prison evolved into Raphael, the Lord of Wisdom. By allowing Veldora to acquire the ultimate skill Lord of Investigation, the analysis of the seal was completed at a rapid pace. After receiving a physical body from Rimuru's enhanced body double, Veldora appears as a handsome man with tan skin and blonde hair. He enjoys reading manga and living as a boss in the dungeon. He has a strong curiosity and a lonely side that likes humans. The part where he gets carried away when flattered is being used well by Ifrit, Rimuru, and Lord of Wisdom. After receiving a physical body from Rimuru, he spent some time in a half-neat state, just reading manga at Rimuru's house. Later, he was assigned to the Labyrinth. Let's briefly explain the Labyrinth here. About the Labyrinth. The Labyrinth is an underground dungeon created by the Demon Lord Ramirez Labyrinth Creation, where the structure inside the labyrinth is at Ramirez's whim. It is possible to build a city inside the dungeon and generate drop items, making the underground labyrinth a tourist attraction for adventurers seeking treasure in Tempest. It contains elements of many games, such as the RPG that Rimuru played before being reincarnated, and the monsters in the labyrinth are quite meticulously created, often reviving quickly. Furthermore, during wartime, it is possible for the town on the ground to move to the 101st floor of the dungeon, which is temporarily expanded, and it seems to play an excellent role as a defense base. The bottommost floor of the dungeon, the 100th floor, is where Veldora, the final boss, resides. Not only is Veldora's private room located here, but also the critical military operations center. So why was Veldora placed as the final boss of the underground labyrinth? The main purpose is to prevent the explosion of the magicules that Veldora has accumulated. After breaking through the infinite prison, Veldora quickly learned to suppress magicules, referencing the knowledge of manga that Rimuru was reading inside his stomach. However, even with this knowledge, if Veldora accumulates too much magicules, an explosion is inevitable, requiring the regular dissipation of magicules. Actually, there were times when the labyrinth was distorted by an explosion when he released all his power. Therefore, by placing Veldora on the 100th floor, he can continue to dissipate magicules in his original dragon form without affecting the surface. This also helps with generating monsters inside the dungeon. The mechanism is that Veldora's powerful magicules are released from the bottom and rise upward. As a result, the lower you go, the more concentrated the magicules become, and stronger monsters are born. The higher you go, the weaker the monsters become. Veldora's views on life and death. Until recently, Veldora only considered causing destruction. It seems that he was being controlled, but even after being revived, Veldora did not think deeply about it. However, due to Rimuru's influence, Veldora's way of thinking began to change. While observing Rimuru's movements with Ifrit in his stomach, Veldora spoke of things like even if its existence disappears, it should be fine as long as it is reborn somewhere. This shows that Veldora thought very lightly about death. As mentioned earlier, the true dragons can be reborn with the same soul no matter how many times they are destroyed, and Veldora seemed to have understood this about other monsters as well. However, through conversations with Ifrit and observing Rimuru's actions, as well as the death of Xion, Veldora began to think more about death. He held a strong belief that death is a natural order and destroyed the magnificent city built by the demon lord Luminous because of this belief. However, later, seeing Rimuru happily building a nation, Veldora regretted his actions. By the way, it seems that Veldora has lost his memory. But when he attacked the Night Rose Palace, he was apparently being led by Luminous opposing forces, so it can be said that he has some excuse. However, it may be more interesting to maintain the current relationship with Luminous, even if Veldora does not know the truth. Nowadays, Veldora has overcome his NEET status and can be seen with a fighting attitude against those who threaten Tempest, being assigned the important role of reserve as the final defense line. Strength of Veldora. Veldora has gained immense strength from before and after meeting Rimuru. Let's take a look back at the battle where Veldora was sealed before meeting Rimuru against the hero Cronoa. First, the hero Cronoa was actually Hinata, who possessed Chloe's body. And, to prevent the destruction of the world, the hero Cronoa repeatedly used the unique skill time travel to find the best route. During this repetition, there was a timeline where Veldora went berserk and Hinata integrated with Chloe. Then faced Veldora, whom she had fought before in the Labyrinth, and sealed him. Considering that it was only possible to seal him even with the combined power of the hero and Hinata, we can see that Veldora was already among the strongest in the series even before acquiring his ultimate skill. Furthermore, Veldora's strength increased even further after meeting Rimuru. Let's now look at Veldora's strength after meeting Rimuru. Veldora originally possessed the analytical unique skill Investigator, Shirodagari, that stemmed from his great curiosity, which allowed him to analyze anything he wanted to know. And, when Rimuru evolved into a demon lord, Veldora also received the benefit of Blessing, and gained the ultimate skill Lord of Investigation, Faust. Lord of Investigation includes the 5 abilities of Thought Acceleration, Analytical Appraisal, All of Creation, Probability Manipulation, and Pursuit of Truth, and is incredibly powerful, with Advanced Analytical Appraisal, the ability to manipulate things in his favor against opponents of the same level or lower with Probability Manipulation, and the powerful analysis-based Pursuit of Truth that can immediately see through an enemy's skill. For example, Veldora's battle in human form can be seen in his fight against Milim at the Walpurgis, where he used Pursuit of Truth to unleash his Veldora-style death stance learned from the Holy Scriptures, firing off a certain Mangus blast. And when Rimuru released Veldora after Demon Lord transformation, Rimuru and Veldora were connected in the Soul Corridor. This meant that all of Veldora's memories and experiences were accumulated within Rimuru, and even if Veldora disappeared, he could be summoned again as long as Rimuru did not disappear. Furthermore, in the battle with the Eastern Empire, Seal innovated Veldora's skills and the ultimate skill Lord of Analysis evolved into the ultimate skill Lord of Chaos, Nyarlathotha. Lord of Chaos adds parallel existence, space-time manipulation, and multi-dimensional barrier to the 5 abilities of Lord of Analysis. It is capable of thought acceleration, analysis and appraisal, and probability manipulation, and can even divide its own consciousness with parallel existence, allowing multiple powerful Veldoras to appear. Since the despair loop of defeating Veldora and then having Rimuru revive him awaits, it is best not to become an enemy of Jura Tempest Federation. Which is stronger, Diablo or Veldora? Seal successfully quantified combat power through Rimuru's skill Labyrinth creation by interfering with it. This is known as existence value, a numerical value directly linked to the amount of magicules. Among Rimuru's subordinates, Kara boasts the highest magical energy of approximately 7 million. Diablo, on the other hand, has a devilishly deceptive value of 6,666,666. Veldora, on the other hand, boasts an astonishing 88.12 million, which explains why he was able to name many of Rimuru's monsters. By the way, the popular character Zegion has a value of about 5 million, which shows just how high Veldora's value is. In combat in the world of Tensura, while the absolute amount of magicules serves as a reference, it is generally difficult to determine victory or defeat based solely on the ultimate skill, as they can only be countered by other ultimate skills. Even considering the fact that Veldora was enchanted by the hero's splendid skills, there are examples where the hero has been able to seal Veldora, who is like a natural disaster. Therefore, it seems quite important to figure out how to handle the enormous amount of magicules. Moreover, it seems that it is possible to defeat superior opponents through high-level arts, even with minimal magicules, as Hakuryu has done. Since the magic that demons are good at is also the art based on techniques and knowledge, Diablo's magic may be able to reach Veldora. However, considering that Kara gave up trying to analyze Milim's magic, it is also likely that the magic wielded by true dragons, even if it is primordial, is impossible to analyze. In other words, it is difficult to compare strength based solely on amount of magicules or ultimate skills. Based on these factors, let's consider Veldora vs Diablo in terms of race and combat experience. First, let's look at their strength as a race. As the true dragon, Veldora boasts overwhelming magicules and undoubtedly has the strongest racial value in the world of Tensura. In addition, he has top-class strength in attack, defense, and vitality, and even if he dies, he can be resurrected with only minor changes in personality and memory. Once again, Veldora's racial advantage is ridiculous. On the other hand, Diablo is one of the oldest beings in the world as the original demons, having lived longer than anyone else. Like Veldora, Diablo also possesses immortality, and while there are conditions such as submitting to the opponent who defeated him in battle and taking time to resurrect, he does not suffer any loss like the true dragons, so he can be resurrected as is. These two characteristics have a significant impact on Diablo's strength as a race because the longevity of demons is related to their strength. Thus, the original demons who have lived for at least 10,000 years have incredibly powerful abilities, and they also have powerful and completely obedient demons of the same type under their command. Although both have advantages as a race, considering the overwhelming difference in magical energy and the resulting physical difference, Veldora is likely to be stronger. Next, let's consider their combat experience. In conclusion, they are not at the same level here, are they? Diablo has experience fighting with beings such as the original demons like Guy and heroes who have extraordinary power, but Veldora also has experience fighting with the two strongest sisters and the Demon Lord. Furthermore, it is possible to consider that Diablo has also overcome the inability to move within time stop. As Veldora was also moving within time stop, the outcome of the battle is becoming even harder to determine. In summary, Veldora has the advantage in terms of race, while they are equal in terms of combat experience. Although both are incredibly powerful in terms of skills, Veldora is likely to be stronger overall. In addition, considering Veldora's connection to Rimuru, there is a possibility that Diablo may not be able to use his full power. If we were to consider the possibility of Diablo winning, it would be through a short-term battle where magicules are not a hindrance, but it's probably impossible to win against Veldora in such a battle. In conclusion, it is natural to think that Veldora has the upper hand over Diablo. Who is stronger, Rimuru or Veldora? When comparing the strength of Rimuru and Veldora, it can be assumed that their superiority varies depending on the time period. Initially, Veldora was sealed when they first met, but as a true dragon, Veldora would undoubtedly be stronger. However, it seems that from the point when Rimuru awakened as a demon lord and their skill evolved from great sage to lord of wisdom, the situation became one where even if they fought, the outcome would be unclear. This is because in How to Spend a Relaxing Vacation, which depicts daily life after the Walpurgis, Veldora says I cannot defeat Rimuru, and expected that they wouldn't be able to deal a fatal blow to Rimuru even if they used all of their attack methods. Furthermore, in Volume 15 of the novel, it seems that the Lord of Wisdom has reached Manas and has become a being that surpasses Veldora completely by incorporating true dragon's data. Therefore, if Veldora and Rimuru were to fight, depending on the time period, it is easy to imagine Rimuru winning, especially in the latter half. The existences Veldora fears. Veldora is one of the strongest species that governs the world. The eldest brother is Veldonava, the first true dragon to create this world. The second sister, White-Ice Dragon Velzard, has feelings for Guy and usually acts with him. The third sister is the Scorching Dragon Velgrin and usually serves as the aide to the Emperor of the Eastern Empire, Rudra. Veldora is the youngest of 4 siblings. In fact, these two sisters are traumatic existences that Veldora fears because Veldora, who cannot control their excess magicules, has been destroyed by Velzard as a form of discipline many times, making Veldora completely traumatized. Velbrint, the second eldest sister, was also a terrifyingly cold and ruthless sister who questioned Velzard's disciplinary methods. It seems that Velzard and Velbrint often quarreled over the education of Veldora, who was freely flying around with his youngest sibling tendencies, but in the end, Veldora ended up receiving harsh education from Velzard, who believed in strict upbringing, and from Velbrint, who believed in laissez-faire style, causing Veldora to have an aversion to both of them. In addition, there is another existence that Veldora fears. That is an existence called Lord of Wisdom, that has self-awareness and the authority to manage its skills, which evolved into manas by Rimuru naming it. Even when Veldora was in Rimuru's stomach, he had talked with Great Sage, but because he frequently touched upon her ruthless and accurate judgments, Veldora seemed to be slightly afraid of Lord of Wisdom while having a casual conversation. In fact, in the conversation between the two before Veldora was remanifested, Lord of Wisdom was clearly giving instructions from above, and Veldora obediently followed them. Moreover, when Lord of Wisdom realized that she was a different personality from Rimuru, Veldora also showed a mysterious acceptance of so she really was a different person, so it seems that he felt a sense of discomfort from the stage of Great Sage. Seal, who scares the Storm Dragon, is truly amazing. How was it? This time, I introduced Veldora. Watching Rimuru expand their friendly relationships and work towards nation building with enthusiasm, Veldora became interested in the human world and hoped to take on a human form. Veldora is a spiritual life form and can take on any form, but it seems he had never taken on a human form before. After taking on the body given by Rimuru, it can be seen that he enjoyed himself in human form. I will continue to research to enjoy Tensura in this channel, so please be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. See you in the next video.